That night, Ine and Shouzou watch a horror movie together. Shouzou thinks the special effects are great, but finds it funny that people scream when a ghost comes out of the TV. He asks Ine for her opinion, and she quickly pulls out a prayer bead and starts praying. She even puts salt near the TV and covers it with a sheet, hilariously claiming she's not scared at all. When it's time to sleep, Shouzou falls asleep easily, but Ine can't close her eyes, seeing ghost on the wooden ceiling. Suddenly, she gets up and decides to lay in her husband's arms, praying to calm down, and finally falls asleep. The next day, Shouzou's arm feels numb, but Ine claims she knows nothing. Later, Mino asks what they're doing near a small tree. They tell her that Hajime gave them a young apple tree seedling. Planting a new apple tree now is complicated because it takes a lot of work and time, but they didn't want to throw it away. Mino remembers a conversation she had with Shota about what dream she wants to fulfill after graduating, so she asks her grandparents to give her the seedling. Shouzou emphasizes that apple trees need a lot of care and can live as long as a human. Mino promises she will handle everything. She's been thinking a lot about the future and imagines having a farm could be really cool. To take care of everything involved in this dream, she needs to learn how to care for things like the seedling. They're proud of Mino, who confesses that seeing someone she admires pursuing their goals made her feel like she needs to go after something too. Speaking of that person, Mino calls Shota to help her tomorrow morning. Shota helps Mino plant the seedling, and she likes the idea of the apple tree living until they become grandparents themselves. Mino recalls that her grandparents planted an apple tree to celebrate their wedding, and this thought brings a strange sensation to her. Shota says he doesn't know what his future will bring, but asks if he can come back here when he's an adult. That's if Mino isn't married and living somewhere else. Mino asserts that she will wait for him. Spying on the conversation, Shouzou and Ine are already planning to have a feast to celebrate, as if they're already married. A few years ago, the old couple planned to have a yomiya, a traditional summer festival for the local shrine's deity. Now, the shrine is all set up for the event, and Mino is trying on a beautiful yukata. Seeing Ine not wearing one, Mino calls her mom to borrow hers for Ine. Shortly after, Shouzou arrives home and is amazed by how cute Ine looks. During the festival night, Shouzou is drinking with his friends and plans to leave, but his friend pours another round. Meanwhile, Ine feels sad, thinking Shouzou will stay up late drinking while she's alone. Suddenly, Shouzou appears in front of Ine, and she brightens up. Walking through the crowd, Ine sees a couple sharing sweets and Shouzou asks if she wants one. She refuses, but Shouzou insists and offers her a strawberry sweets. She happily accepts. Later, Ine plays a shooting game and headshot a stuffed bear that reminds her of Shouzou, but the bear doesn't fall. The owner knows the only way to knock it down is by shooting it rapidly several times. Shouzou steps in to help, timing his shots with Ine. They manage to knock down the bear and win the prize, impressing everyone around. We later learn that Shouzou was a former hunting club member, which is why he is so good at shooting targets. They plan to sit down somewhere and take a break. In Ine's dream, she thinks about how when two people love each other, one dies first, leaving the other behind to feel overwhelming loneliness. She sees the hourglass and hears a voice warning her she has only 7 days left to live. Waking up from her nap next to Shouzou, she tries to act normal, but Shouzou notices she looks pale. Surprisingly, Shouzou asks if Ine heard any voices in her dream, because he did too, warning him he'll last the year. Which Ine gets closer to Shouzou and reveals she has a week left to live. Shouzou wraps his arm around her, and she shares that despite being sickly for as long as she can remember, she feels blessed to have lived so long. Shouzou, on the other hand, wishes for a miracle. Shouzou's prayer is answered as a glow shoots up to the sky and a balance scale descends, enveloping the couple. Shouzou is sucked into a dream with Ine sleeping in his arms. A voice introduces itself as Tochigami, the deity of the shrine. She promises to lend her power to fulfill Shouzou's wish as gratitude for them cleaning the sacred place that had been abandoned. However, she can't create life or extend a human's lifespan. Without a second thought, Shouzou gives half of his lifespan to Ine. She wakes up, not knowing how long she had been asleep. Shouzou says it was just 15 minutes, as if nothing had happened. Ine reveals that in her dream, her hourglass gained sand out of nowhere. She says it's better this way because they don't have to count how much life they have left. They promise not to reveal their lifespans again. Shouzou reflects that he could never live without Ine and hopes they leave together when the time comes. They enjoy the fireworks, capturing as many beautiful moments as they can. Meanwhile, Satoshi tells Shiori a story about the shrine. Long ago, a happy couple lived there, but a drought caused hunger and diseases, killing the villagers. The couple gave water, the most important thing, to the sacred tree, but their wish wasn't granted, and they died. Days later, golden fruit sprouted from the tree, curing diseases and satisfying hunger. According to legend, the couple's wishing power still flows through the land. Shiori, annoyed at the history lesson, plans to go home, reflecting on her desire for a happy couple life like her grandparents. Satoshi catches up with her, offering 2 chocolate bananas as an apology, and she accepts, thinking it was silly to get mad. A week later, Ine realizes she's still alive and starts crying because she was scared. Despite accepting death, she couldn't bear the thought of Shouzou being alone. Shouzou hugs her, asserting that they need to live life as they always have, even if the day they depart is tomorrow.